Hi, I'm Jake Babs, the historian here at the Gene Lloyd Cooper Archives on the beautiful campus of the University of Rio Grande Community College. And today we're going to talk about the not-so-distant past, although just about 5 minutes ago I said we're going to talk about Rio Grande 50 years ago, and she went, wow, and I said, that's the year I graduated. She said, oh, I'm sorry. So 50 years. 1975, a very significant year in Rio Grande history. It's the first year of the community college. The community college passed in the spring of 1974. So the 1974-75 school year was the first year that there were students under the community college auspices, and it was very successful. Enrollment had dropped every year since 1969, but in 1975 it went up. It went up to a total of 748, 216 of which were Rio Grande College students, and 532 were members of the community college. The Community College just review, the Community College District, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Vinton counties, they passed a levy in the spring of 1974, putting a permanent tax on themselves to support the Rio Grande educational mission. That first year, 64% were in the Community College District, 29% came from the rest of Ohio, and we had 7 students, 7% of the student body came from out of state. Just as a side note, 1974-75 was the first year Linda Bauer taught here. I know if any of you love and respect Linda, as I do. Average class size was 17. We were on the quarter system. We'd always been on the semester system, but with the move to the community college and being associated as part of the state, we went to the quarter system like the other state schools in Ohio. Some of the highlights that year, the Grand Chorale made their first really big trip in the spring of 1975. They went to Disney World and performed. That was their first big out-of-state tour, and by far the biggest performance they'd ever done when they went to Disney. We had 3 major theater productions here on campus. We had the Trojan Women in the fall, a classic of Greek literature. In the wintertime, we did Dracula, which was directed by a student, me. And in the spring, we did a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical 2x2 about Noah and the flood. 1975 was the dedication of Stanley Evans Athletic Fields. Men's basketball went 13-11. Baseball was 14-6. Bernie Tilley became an All-American cross country. But most importantly, there were 4 women's sports. In the early 1970s, women's sports has come back to Rio Grande, and they were competing on the intercollegiate level. Women's basketball, softball, and swimming were all coached by Diane Lewis. And there was a track team put together, and they had 3 meets. Graduation. The 99th Rio Grande College graduation, the first community college graduation, there were 110 BS degrees awarded and 22 Associates of Arts degrees. In that group, there was 1 married couple, my wife and I. I told you this is a personal report. And a mother and 2 daughters, Margaret Griffin and her daughters Charlene and Linda from Oak Hill graduated. One of the highlights of that graduation was a surprise was pulled off on Jean Cooper. Yes, the lady that the archives are named after, Jean, received an honorary doctorate for her 29 years of service. 1995, the archives will be named after, and when she finally retired about the year 2006, she concluded 58 years of service to Rio Grande. That's a look at Rio Grande College, Rio Grande Community College, and Rio Grande itself 50 years ago. A lot of us are still around, unfortunately. A lot of us aren't. Until later, go Rio.